Today, my friends, we are going to be doing an Electrone Lalo breakdown for you guys. This guide is going to be everything you need to know about this strategy, from the Electron kill squad, base identification, how to Lalo, and how to use your spells. We're even going to be going over different variations, including YOLOtron. So that's right, guys, we're going to be going over Electrone Lalo in this video, and this is going to be basically your full breakdown. So, what are going to be the key things that you need to know about the Electrone Lalo? Well, first of all, base identification is always important, but on top of that, when you're looking at a base design, you know, this works really well with a lot of different siege machines. So you have to really look at the base in order to kind of distinguish on, you know, different things. So first of all, one of the biggest things that you need to look at is the CC, or well, the CC and Queen placement. Basically, those two are going to be extremely huge because you have no idea, you know, where you're, like, because every base is going to be different. So remember that you got to look at them first. The second thing that you have to look at is going to be the air sweeper placement. These things can really screw up a blimp or slammer entry if they're placed correctly. Like we see right here, this one right here more specifically, this one's going to stop us from either using a stone slammer to get right up over here. So what that means is we aren't going to be able to successfully get over to the queen without having the sweeper blowing back the slammer and causing the E-drag to go onto the outside. That is if we don't create a funnel. So typically, with this being said, where else can you really get value from? Well, try to take a look going in behind the sweepers. This is usually really good when you have both sweepers aiming at the same direction, that or like on the same side. So they're both blowing on this side of the base, meaning that this bottom section of the base right here is completely barren, which means you're going to be able to send in a blimp or a slammer there and have little to no problems. Now, with that being said, you can still use the clone spell to clone the E-drag and not the balloons, or vice versa. So you can definitely do it a little bit better. You can actually clone the balloons with the clone. You know, you can definitely do a lot of stuff there. So with that being said, on this base here, we're not going to be hitting towards here, even though it looks very, very tempting. We don't hit there. Instead, we're going to work our way over to the queen. So by using the slammer here and working our way here, we're going to be able to kill off the enemy CC and enemy queen very easily. So what that means is we're going to be starting off this with a funnel on either side of the base. This is typically done in order to make sure that there are no defenses on the outside like we see right here. There are defenses on the outside which would cause the slammer to move onto the outside. We don't want that to happen. So that means that we've got to make sure that we're creating the funnel first. Then after this has happened, we can then send in the Electron, which is basically going to work its way into the Multi-Inferno and then over to the Mortar, and it's going to work its direction down here. There is an enemy dragon in the CC, so that means that we are going to use the poison to slow its attack down, and then we're going to use that rage spell on top of both the cloned Electro Dragon and the regular Electro Dragon to get through it. That should clear that entire bottom section. Now what that means is we can send in our Lalo like this, because we have already killed off the enemy queen and the CC, and we don't really need to worry about too many other things. Now, before we jump into the replay, let's get you guys into the main point at hand, which is going to be the key objectives. Those key objectives are going to be things like at least 1 to 2 air defenses. If you can get an air defense with the Sui and with the Electron, then you've got yourself great value. If you can get things like a Multi-Inferno, Expos, those are going to be also really good to get. Those are going to be the main sort of things that you really want to try and get. I mean, the Expo, like really any air targeting defenses is going to be worth it. But other than that, that kind of gives you guys the main point, the main idea. Now you understand what I'm sort of talking about going forward with this example. So, I'm not going to try and so much to do a play-by-play here, but I want to show you guys what's going on. So, what the attacker's going to do here is he's going to drop in his heroes. The heroes are going to start off as a Sui hero. The reason that he's doing this is because, remember, with an Electrone Lalo, you have another mini kill squad, which is a Sui Lalo. So this is, or a Sui hero. This is going to allow you to get value from the outside without even touching any wall breakers or super wall breakers. So those are always going to be extremely good. So think of this as maybe even a better Sui Lalo. But that's just speculation there from me. But as we can see right here, we're dropping in a coconut balloon. You want to do this in order to make sure that either your blimp or your slammer is being tanked for, and not just that, but also you want to make sure that there are any seeking air mines there, that balloon soaks it up. So definitely in terms of like a Lavaloon, you may want to sacrifice just a little bit of space from that to protect the slammer or the blimp. So see, as we're working our way down towards that section, we're making sure that we're dropping our rage spell early. We're going to freeze up all the defenses there, and notice how we're waiting to clone the E-Drag. Now this doesn't mean that this is a YOLOtron. A YOLOtron only happens when you are sending in a kill squad full of E-Drags. So that means that you're sending in about 2 E-Drags along with the rest of it, So now when we're starting our Lavaloon, I want to let you guys know about the number of loons right here. So I want to make sure that you guys are seeing this, and we're just going to play that through the Lavaloon so you guys can see it without it having to block as much of the screen. So as you guys can see here, we're actually driving our way through the base. We're making sure that we have the haste spells to get to those key defenses, air defenses, infernos, wizard towers, expos, archer towers. Those are always going to be extremely important. Even the eagle is another defense you should haste into. So with that being said, that gives you guys a really solid idea into understanding everything about each of these parts. So hopefully you guys got the number of loons. I actually shared it throughout the entire Lavaloon portion, so I hope that kind of helps you guys. But with that being said, that kind of gives you guys a solid idea of how you guys can use the Electrone Lalo. I know this was long, but let's go ahead and move on into another example using the Electrone or even YOLOtron Lalo strategy. So we've got another example, and we're going to be looking at another variation. We've got the Battle Blimp here. So unlike the Stone Slammer is usually used when there is good pathing for that Stone Slammer to just go in. Usually you're going to use a funnel there either way, but on a base like this, there's a lot of defenses where it's going to be fairly tricky to actually get the Stone Slammer into the base, because there's a lot of defenses, not just on the outside, but there's also a lot of defenses inside, which can really make it very difficult for you to actually move into the base with your Electrone. So what we're going to do here is we're going to see a funnel being set, and we're going to see the lava or the Electrone with the blimp. Of course, like, you know, that is why I kind of said it. But other than that, the biggest thing that I want you guys to sort of understand from an example like this is to understand really how the base is designed, and, you know, of course, like the base identification. Where's the town hall? It's all the way down here. So what that lets you know is you should be using the blimp, because the queen is not by the town hall area. So that means that it would be a heck of a lot better if we just use a blimp. And typically what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're decreasing the amount of defenses that the blimp can get hit by. So this is where what we're going to be doing is dropping in the balloon, soaking up any seeking air mines. After we do that, then we can send in the blimp. So you'll see as the blimp goes in, it's a little bit quicker, so it allows us to actually get in and then take out everything else. Typically, we're going to use a poison spell on the enemy CC, but in this case, the CC was actually an E-Drag, or not an E-Drag, it was a Lava Hound and Archer CC, meaning that it wasn't going to get lured out anyways. So those are just going to be little things. I mean, if you're seeing a defensive CC like a dragon or baby dragon, just know that this type of kill squad can deal with it very easy. So we know that we can deal with the an attack, or, you know, we can deal with the queen, we can deal with the different CCs with this. So this is really good. So we're going through the Lavaloon again, and very important again that we're talking about the Grand Warden. I did not mention that in the other example, but with this, the Grand Warden, he should be used right behind a good group. What this means is that what you're doing with your surgical placement, like I showed you with the number of balloons last time, what we're doing is we are going to see the balloons sort of come together, and that's really where that Warden is going to get the most amount of value from his ability. So as he's driving through along with those balloons, you want to make sure that you're popping his ability really when he needs it the most. And you saw from here is that we actually cleared out a lot of the air defenses, meaning that we had a Lava Hound that was going for defenses. So that means that you can get a lot of good value from even a Lava Hound as long as you are doing extremely well with placing in your haste, using your freeze spells. I would only use freeze if there is, let's say, let's say there's an Inferno Tower that's left. You can either bring a heal or you can bring a freeze spell. It's really going to be up to you, but as far as I can say, it's just going to be a heck of a lot better if you do one of the two. Either way, you're going to do very well with it. Freeze, just make sure that that you are timing it, and it's the same thing with the heal as well. Make sure that you're timing it correctly. That way you're going to be able to get the most out of it from those two spells. But let's go ahead and move on into another example, which could possibly be Yolotrone. So guys, here is our third example of the Electrone Lalo. Now, remember that when you're looking at a particular base for this strategy, you want to make sure that you are looking for the closest area by the queen. Typically, you don't really need to use a poison, just make sure that you're raging up the E-Drag, and it should deal with most to all of the CC. Save that poison for the Sui hero. You'll see that in this example where realistically that happens. Now, when a Electrone doesn't really get an air defense, that's where you have to take those extra precautions to see, alright, what's the easiest air defense that I can get? On this base design here, it would be this air defense. So consider there being a ton of options. So you just want to think about, if you're not getting an air defense, make sure that you're getting one with the Sui hero. Make sure that it's the easiest one, because the other three are usually a little bit harder. That's where you're going to be starting your Lalo. So with that out of the way, let's kind of show you guys this example in order to show you guys exactly how we can still use this strategy. So of course, this is after a couple days of not really recording any Electrone, so definitely you can tell that I'm a little bit different between the last example and this example. What you'll see from here is that we've got the Electrone going, so we have the one clone, and those cloned balloons are going to go around to those defenses like I've stated before. But you can still see is that the entire CC was not taken out. So we still have the Witch and Skeletons up. So what this means is that we're going to drop in our Sui hero right here and work our way down. The main reason to why we want to work ourselves towards that air defense is, one, to take it out, but two, we are still trying to get value from that outside. So creating that defensive pathing for the balloons is always going to be extremely critical. So you can see right here is that we have the king tanking for the queen. She's going to, she's going to be able to target onto that air defense. The king will be able to get some of those defenses on the outside, and will make that Lalo pathing much, much easier. So, as we're now starting to send everything in, you can see that we're starting to send in our Lavaloon. Now, you may notice that we're not really starting our Lalo here, and instead we're starting it going in this way. So we have a couple balloons to sort of, get through this section in order to take down the Inferno. Now, again, it's not really a max base. You can definitely tell that is a semi-new Town Hall 11, but you can still tell that even with those Infernos, they're still going to be fairly difficult to go through. But you'll see from here, super simple stuff. All you're doing is just making sure that you have tankage on the air defenses. You have your haste spells going to the defenses. If possible, remember that you're bringing roughly 3-4 hastes per attack. So that means that what you really need to do is make sure that you're saving your haste spells. Notice where those guys will path, and then you've got to really think about, alright, when am I going to use that haste spell? That is going to be the whole trick that you need to sort of think about when you're actually going in using a haste spell with Lavaloon. This is really not just Electro, this is any Lavaloon. Make sure that you're sort of rationing out those haste spells, because those will help you get through the rest of the base like you see right here. So pretty simple example, am I right? So this is definitely a very good example of how you guys can use this strategy more effectively. So I hope that this replay wasn't that boring. I really wanted to try and make sure that you guys understood everything, and I sort of tried to condense all the information into just in these 4 minutes. So let's go ahead and move on into our final example using the Electrone Lalo. So we're moving into our final example, and we're just going to break this base down. So first things first, you notice that there is a stone slammer. So here is the biggest thing in terms of using either a stone slammer or a blimp. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, as I haven't been recording this sort of video for a while, but this strategy in terms of the stone slammer and the battle blimp, the stone slammer is a lot more effective when things like this are on one side, and the only way to really bypass that is by attacking here. So this is where the slammer becomes a lot more prevalent. So you got to consider that. So I know another thing that I was asked as well is, what base designs does Electrone Lalo work against? Well, it works against a large variety. I mean, you can do this against ring bases too. So don't think that, you can only use this against a particular type of base. You can use this on any type of base. That's how powerful the Electrone kill squad is. But you've got to identify the right base. So those anti-2s, anti-3s are super easy, as long as you make sure that you're looking at the air sweepers. On top of this, with the stone slammer, you need easy pathing with your stone slammer. So you need easy defensive pathing, so that then you can actually get your stone slammer into the base. Now, the downside to the stone slammer is it doesn't do as much damage as, or death damage as a battle blimp. I mean, the battle blimp at max level does, I think, over 1,000 damage. I don't know what the actual amount is, but I know it's over 1,000, so it's still really good. So definitely, the blimp definitely helps with that electron. The blimp, on the other hand, kind of helps more so in terms of really just getting yourself into the base and really just doing heavy damage to defenses. So you'll see right here is that we're actually sending in a Coco Loon that was able to soak up any traps by that air defense. But you can see that the easy pathing starts here. We sent in the air defense, or we hit the air defense, then we hit the Inferno. Then we're gonna hit that clone once that queen starts to aggro on. So you'll see that we're clearing out that small section. So really think of this like a regular kill squad attack. All you're doing is you're using the Electron as part of a kill squad, so you're basically trying to create a wedge in the base. Now we use the Sui hero first because we first need to create pathing for the Electron, and then that way we can send in our Lavaloon. But on top of this, starting with a Sui hero is never a bad option, but it always depends on the base and how the defenses are laid out. If the defenses are in a ring, then you don't need to use it till later. But if you have some defenses on the outside that could hinder the pathing of the stone slammer, that is when you're going to use the Sui hero first. So, and you can see from here is that the Electron, we used 4 hastes, and you can see that we don't really need to use the last haste spell, realistically. So it's pretty simple on how this attack strategy is. You saw the Grand Warden. I talked about a lot of this stuff earlier, but with that being said, that kind of gives you guys a really core idea into every little thing about this. I just want to try and make sure that I'm not so much talking about this, like the replay going on, because I feel like that's why I was doing earlier in this video and also in previous videos. So I want to make sure that I'm taking the time to really show you guys as many replays as I can while still explaining certain things that are really important. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. Remember to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell to join the Corrupt fam, and also feel free, also to never miss an upload. Also, feel free to go ahead and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and also Twitch, or subscribe to me on there. Also, feel free to go ahead and follow me on the new streaming service, Madcat. Remember to leave a follow on there. And also, don't forget that you guys can join any of the clans I cover right now in the game in terms of, all these other clans. So down below in the description, you're going to see all of the Discord servers. So definitely feel free to join one of them if you have what it takes to join a league clan or even an esports clan, also known as Affiliate Esports, since you can see that right over here. But with that being said, guys, that is going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure that you guys are watching this video right up here about. So don't forget to click on one or both of those videos in order to check out some previous videos I've done on this channel. With that being said, guys, I'll catch you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.